And now to an update on the cooling relations between two close allies, Israel and the United States. The Biden administration has criticized actions of Israel's right-wing government led by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Nancy Cordes has the details.
President Biden has known Benjamin Netanyahu for decades, but he has not invited him to the White House since Netanyahu became prime minister again last year. Just last week, Mr. Biden called Netanyahu's cabinet extreme.
We're talking with them regularly, trying to tamp down what's going on, and hopefully Bibi will continue to move toward moderation.
Netanyahu's hardline nationalist coalition has sparked months of protest in Israel for its attempts to overhaul the judicial branch. The current government has also aggressively expanded settlements in the occupied West Bank. The State Department said those settlements were illegally built and an obstacle to the achievement of a two-state solution. Netanyahu has shrugged off those critiques.
It's an internal matter that we have to resolve, and we're doing it.
Tensions rose this weekend when the chair of the House Progressive Caucus, Pramila Jayapal, said this.
We have been fighting to make it clear that Israel is a racist state, that the Palestinian people deserve self-determination and autonomy.
The Congresswoman walked that language back in the face of criticism from both parties.
And in what could be viewed as an olive branch of sorts, President Biden spoke by phone with Netanyahu yesterday and did invite him to the U.S. to meet later this year. White House officials stress they still have the same concerns about the Netanyahu government. Those are not going away. And while Netanyahu claimed that the meeting is going to take place here at the White House, officials here say those details are still being worked out, Anne-Marie.
Interesting. Do we have any idea why the invitation was extended now?
Well, I think things were getting pretty awkward, particularly in Israel, with President Biden inviting Isaac Herzog once again here to the White House and pointedly not inviting Netanyahu. That is highly unusual that a U.S. president wouldn't invite a sitting Israeli prime minister. Normally, those two countries are more or less in lockstep, and the U.S. is very eager to show its support for the only democracy in the region. That's the way that a lot of members of Congress view it. And so this is an attempt to sort of make things a little less fraught before the meeting that is taking place today. But it is super unusual that the White House wouldn't just come out and say, yeah, we're inviting him here to the White House. They're going to sit down later this year. Kind of odd for them to say, well, Netanyahu's being invited to the U.S., and we can't say right now where exactly they're going to meet. Typically, President Biden meets with heads of state here at his place of business, which is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Meantime, your package mentions Representative Jayapal's comments. The House is going to be taking up a vote today on a resolution defending Israel against charges of racism. What do we know about that?
Well, what we know is that the Republicans who control the House are looking to make a point here. As the House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, put it yesterday, there have been anti-Semitic comments coming from a couple of House Democrats, and he wants to make a point of that. For her part, Jayapal did apologize for calling Israel a racist state. She said she shouldn't have said that, but she still argues that Israel is instituting racist policies. So, she's not walking that far back, but she recognized that she did overstep and is working to smooth things over in advance of this visit by Herzog, which is going to include an address to Congress, which she and a few Democrats say they likely will not attend.
And then just want to ask you about something completely different. You know, leading into you, we talked about the Senate gearing up to debate the massive defense spending bill. I want to ask you what's going on with those military promotions. Senator Tuberville had been holding them up, more than 270 military promotions. I mean, are things still sort of in freeze mode?
To the great distress of the White House, yes, they appear to be. And Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, when she was asked about this yesterday, accused Tuberville of hijacking what has traditionally been a bipartisan process. And that's true. Normally, passage of the defense spending bill is something that Congress doesn't mess around with. This is viewed as vital to the functioning of the U.S. government, the fact that the military has certainty about its funding. And so this is sort of an all-out battle at this point between Democrats and Tommy Tuberville. And you add to that the fact that that House Republicans, when they passed a version of this bill, they added on a whole bunch of measures that House Democrats labeled as extreme, that didn't really necessarily have to do with military funding, issues that they want to address in the military, like abortion and diversity training and that kind of thing. And the White House is making the point that those items will be stripped out. They will not be what makes it to the president's desk and get signed. But obviously, it's hard to predict exactly what path things are going to take right now.
All right, Nancy, thank you.